Hello everyone, it's Sheila back again. Welcome to my channel. You know, it's not even 6 o'clock yet and it's very dark. Must be wet and I can't be bothered to get up off my settee and look out the window properly. I can see out the window but I can't tell whether it's raining, but I think it is because it's really dark. I've had to put the ring light on at the back of my laptop now to get some light for this video. And I am busy I've just started the cardigan, this one, or jacket it is really, this one for Dagri. I've just started a little bit, sure you don't know whether you can see it very well on there, but I've just started the cable part. Well, it's the whole thing's cable, it's cable and there's two cable panels and the rest is double moss stitch or Irish moss stitch, whatever you want to call it. I'm doing this pattern, and the last cardigan I did for Dagri, she wanted it to measure, she's 44 but she wanted it 2 inches larger, to measure 46. Now this Wendy one only goes up to a 42. I'm doing the largest size and it says the actual finished measurement is 45. So I should think that would be alright for Dagri, but I cannot do a tension swatch with this because there are different kinds of stitches in it. When you knit cable, well, like these stitches here, when you do cable, it pulls in. You have to have more stitches than if you were doing plain knitting because it comes in tight. And this part and the middle panel here is the double moss stitch. That goes out over. So I cannot do a swatch just to find out what size this is going to come out. And I have 147 stitches there. And now I'm looking at this size and I'm just hoping, you can't really tell until you've done, you know, enough for the measure something, but it looks rather wide to me. And I've got it split between the 2 needles, but I don't know what this is going to measure. Oh, we're doing here. Where it is at the moment, without stretching or anything, it actually measures 23 inches, the back. But I do know that the cables are probably going to pull in, so I'll find out after, you know, after I get it knitted. If it's going to be too big for Dagri, I'll probably put it up to sell it for somebody the larger size if it's going to come out larger, but I'll not know until I've knitted it. It's just one of those kind of things that you cannot tell until you've finished it. Like I'm saying, you can't measure 2 different styles of patterning because they don't come out the same. But anyway, I've started it and it's got this part down here. I don't know whether you can see because it is, I've had to put my ring light on and it's very dark in the living room. But this is the for the cable pattern, just the cable part, and then I have to start back from here. Well, I've started where it said, but 147 stitches, and I'm actually on to row 11 now, and it gives you each row and it tells you to do whatever amount you have to do up to the cable pattern. And then you have to go over to the cable pattern part to do that part and then go back to the other part. Well, I got down to row 5. This is where I changed on the row 5, where I changed to. I started off with 3 3/4 needles, 3.75 needles. Then I had to change to 4mm needles on the 5th row. And when I started that row, half of it's down here and the other half's on the other side of the page. So I'm looking at it here and I've had to turn over to the other page. Then I'm going on to the rest of it, and when I come to the panel I've got to turn back again and read the part down there, and then I get on to the next row. I've got to turn over for the next row and then turn back over again for the cable panel, and then again. And I thought that was really annoying me. But when I got to the 8th row, it says the 2 cable patterns with double moss stitch to each side and in the middle have now been set. So I just have to continue using the panel, this part here, because it's just the same moss stitch on either side in the middle of the cable. So I don't need to follow a pattern for that, because it tells you the pattern's been set. So at least that was that was all right. And another thing I noticed with this pattern, I did tell Dagry about it. You might be able to see here. I didn't really read the pattern at first, but when I saw this bit here, you can see there's a space between her arm and the jacket where this cardigan is shaped in like that. Now I don't like cardigans like that, and not at my age anyway, because I haven't got any waist to shape into anyway. So I messaged, and I know one or two other people don't like them like that either, and I messaged Dagry and asked her if she wanted me to knit the waist in or just knit it straight, which is leaving it up to me. So Dagry, I get knit straight. I don't. Yeah, you can see on the back as well, when you look on the back, you can see the gap there where that arm is. Well, obviously that's a young woman. Oh, she's got more of a shape than what us older ones have. So if it was mine, it would be straight up and down. I think Dagry would probably prefer it that way. That's the way she's getting it anyway. So I've been doing a little bit of that, but before I started that, I was doing this little cardigan. It hasn't taken me long to do this. I started a little bit of it on Sunday at my granddaughter's, and I haven't really done much until today, and I thought I'll try and get this finished and put it up on my Etsy shop. Well, I did the back, got the back, and I had already done both sleeves. It's one sleeve there, and I only had one front left to do. So I did a tutorial on my other channel showing how to do this little pattern. It's a very simple, just two actual rows to the lace. So I put that, done a little tutorial for that, and then I had I finished that piece. And I thought, oh, I'll stitch it up, and then I'll pick all the stitches up around, because it's a V-neck, put the stitches around for the neck. And then I picked up the sleeve. That didn't look right, that sleeve. And you know what, I had done a mistake. This pattern, this is a sleeve. The pattern I started straight after the rib. I've done 8 rows of rib, and then I started the pattern straight away. But on one of the sleeves I had knit 2 rows. And this bit of the pattern was standing out more than, that's what made me look at it. It's another annoyance. It's one of them days. So I pulled it out down to the rib, and I'll be doing that when I come, if I have any time when I come back from the pub tonight. I usually get home just after 10. I think it finishes because I'm going to bingo tonight, and it's only on about it's about 10 o'clock, so I'm usually home about 10:15. So I'll probably have a couple of hours before I go to bed. I very rarely go to bed before midnight. So I'll be doing a little bit of this and finish this off probably tonight, because I'll have the television on and I will not be able to knit this. I'll not be able to knit this one while the television's on. There's no way. I took my eye off the pattern a couple of times, and then I had to count the rows up that I had done to remember which row I was onto. So I'm going to put a little piece of paper in with the pattern, and every time I stop knitting I'm going to write down what row I'm onto, because there's 48 rows. Yes, there's actually 48 rows to the pattern. At least the second and every alternate row, all I have to do is just knit what you see. If it's a knit stitch, I say I knit it. If it's a purl stitch, I purl it, and that's the way it is. on every other row. So that's very easy, that part. It's just all the different kinds of cables, because there's crossing over cables, there's ordinary cable crossovers, and then there's other kind of crossover cables where you're crossing it over and you're knitting two stitches and purling 2 stitches. Instead of knitting 2 stitches and then knitting the other 2 stitches, you're knitting and purling. So there's too many different crossovers and all that for to make a mistake. So I'm going to have to write down, put a piece of paper in. I know I'm on to row 11 now, and I'll do a little bit until it's almost 6 o'clock. I'll be going out about 6:45, because I'll meet the girls just after 7 in the pub we're going to for bingo. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some of this until I go out, and then I'll put a piece of paper in here and I'll mark which row I was on to. I thought about putting a line across and pencil on the thing, but it means I'm going to be rubbing it out and those marks are going to be shown, and when I'm coming back to that panel part all the time, I'm going to get mixed up, because I'm not sure whether it'll be a proper, even if I rub it out, whether it's a proper line or not. So I'm just going to write down. I've got one little notebook here. I'll take a page out of my little notebook and I'll put that in the pattern and then write down what row I'm on to when I'm onto it. I know that one's going to take me a bit longer than normal because of what I have to do with the cables, and there is a lot of changing cables in between rows. So I'm changing the cables and I'm like this, knitting a few rows, and cable out and writing a few, doing a few more rows, and back my mouth again. And I hope I don't forget and swallow this thing, like. But anyway, I'm going to go out later on and hope I win some money. I've never won anything on the bingo since the girls changed the venue, changed our bingo venue where we go to for the bingo now. And I hope it's well, 1 or 2 of the other girls have won. Maybe it's my turn this time, you never know. But there is a lot of people go. It's like being in one of the big bingo halls. There is a lot of people go there, but there is a lot more money to win than what we used to win at our other place. Sometimes the other place you only just used to break even. Even if I won, only got back where I had paid into it. That's all. So that's mine. I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee, and I'm going to sit down and do a little bit of this cardigan jacket. It is really, it's not a cardigan, it's a jacket. See how far I can get with it. And wish me luck at the bingo tonight, everybody. Thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll let you know, let you see more of this when I get more of it done.